All right, guys. Good morning. Good morning. Hope you guys are doing good today. Nvidia dropped a lot yesterday at the open, back up, filling some of that gap from yesterday. Apple slightly green on the day. Had a pretty good day yesterday. NASDAQ is slightly red, I believe. We did get a deal yesterday with Japan. So a trade pact was unveiled yesterday. The president and prime minister of Shiba agreed to cut U.S. tariffs on Japanese auto imports from the threatened 27.5% to 15%. They said to slash tariffs on other Japanese goods from 25 to 15%, averting duties set for August 1st. Japan is pledging up to $550 billion in U.S. investment and loan guarantees to boost semiconductors, energy, agriculture, auto sectors, and more. The deal includes market access for U.S. auto and agricultural exports, which includes rice, though quotas remain, and the Japanese markets rallied on this. The Nikkei climbed 3.5 to 4%. Toyota, Honda all up. U.S. futures, looking into them now, are green on the day. NASDAQ is up to 23,253, still filling some of the gap from yesterday. So we're still filling some of this gap. S&P Dow all up. Global automakers like GM, Ford, Tesla are also up in pre-market. We do have Google and Tesla earnings today. That's probably the biggest story of the day. Oil prices are dipping amid trade anxieties. The dollar is edging lower. Japan-U.S. auto tariff relief does provide some breathing room from Bank of Japan policies. And we also have U.S. talks planned in Stockholm. Yeah, we had some earnings that came out this morning too. We had GV, FCX, AT&T, Thermo Fisher, NextEra, Hilton, Boston Scientific. I'm seeing mostly beats for these. Equinor missed, but we also had Coop missed, but everything else beat. Yeah, T-Mobile posted 54 cents versus 51 cents, 30.85 billion revenue versus 30.53. So they beat EPS and revenue for AT&T. They're down a lot from this though, probably guidance related, I'm guessing. They're not really reacting good to this. You can see they're down at 26.30s. So watching that here. What's up, BT? Yeah, why did this drop happen? I don't know. I'm looking up news. The EU tech chief, Sefcovic, or I don't know if it's Sefcovic, but the EU tech chief says there are no plans to get big tech to pay digital law compliance costs, according to Reuters. NASDAQ is green, so is the E-mini, but Like, we're still up a lot. We dropped so much yesterday. You got to see, like, we started the day here. And so now, actually, we might not be as green as I thought we were. Hold on. So we opened the day here. Yeah, we're green, but we're not, like, really green on the NQ. We're basically flat on the day now after this big dip. Besant was live, said something. Yeah, I'm looking deeper into this. GameStop's still trending. Yeah, so Besant said he's gonna leave his board seat. So Treasury Secretary Besant, let me rephrase this. Said Powell has not said he is going to leave his board seat. Would be very good for Fed if Powell leaves in May. Simultaneous process for picking Kugler replacement on Bowman as chair candidate. He's not naming names. He said the president always has a plan. It's not always obvious. He said the market took it pretty well regarding the president's tariff plans. And he said that the president has created a lot of leverage. He said my regular meetings continue with Powell always. He said Fed internal review could be an outside panel. But yeah, Besant, the overarching point he made is that he's not going to fire Powell. Maybe that's what negatively impacted markets. That came out about 10 minutes ago. 10 to 15 minutes ago, and then let's see when this drop was. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. This drop happened about 25 minutes ago. It could have been when, yeah, it looks like it was when Besant started speaking. So Besant said some things about China about 25 minutes ago. In the things he said, with Japan, we discussed... Okay, we got a couple breaking news that happened about 25 to 30 minutes ago. European Union plans 30% tariff on U.S. goods if there's no deal by August 1st. The European Union is planning 30% tariffs on 117 billion of U.S. goods if a deal isn't reached August 1st, and the U.S. imposes similar tariffs on European Union exports. The measures would merge existing and proposed tariffs hitting U.S. products like Boeing, cars, bourbon, could take effect next month if the U.S. moves ahead and we don't get a deal. And that happened 26 minutes ago. We also had Besant start speaking then. So we had a couple different things that happened in this period of time here where the market dipped like this. We had a couple things that happened right here. And it looks like it was, specifically, I would guess it was the European Union planning to impose 30% tariffs on the U.S. if we don't get a deal done by August 1st, which is in a week. And again, Besant started speaking. He said, with Japan, we discussed the overall relationship. The 15% for Japan autos is a different kind of deal. Japan proposed partnership equity credit guarantees, and Japan got 15% due to innovative financing mechanism. Japan's FDI pledges all the new capital. On whether European Union can get 15%, he said Japan was innovative. Regarding what Besant is saying here, he said talks with the European Union are going better than they had been. He said EU retaliatory preparation is a negotiating tactic, and talks. He said in a good place with China, can move on to bigger talks. EU retaliatory preparation is a negotiation tactic. In good place with China, can move on to bigger talks. Not sustainable. China makes up 30% of world manufacturing. We are back on track with China negotiations. Can get into good cadence of regular China meetings. Don't have dates for the president to visit China. Nothing before Labor Day. Don't want China decoupling. Want supply de-risking. Yeah, so that's basically what's happening here. I'm guessing Texas Instruments is still reacting negatively. Didn't they have earnings? When did Texas Instruments come out with earnings? Was it yesterday? They're probably still down on that. Yeah, this is just earnings last night for Texas Instruments. I mean, they're starting to rebound back up, but they're just reacting negatively to their earnings report yesterday. Yeah, Krispy Kreme, D and UT. Yeah, but that's what's been going on. Bessett's been speaking. Oil. Bitcoin and other stocks down. They hit 120s yesterday. They're back down to 118s now. Goldman Sachs is reportedly going to offer tokenized money market fund with BNY for institutional investors, according to CNBC. NextEra Energy also just released their earnings. There's the earnings right there for NextEra. Not really moving much, but yeah, GameStop's still trending. Block getting added to the SPY, so Cash App. What's the new symbol for Block? I forgot. XYZ. I mean, I think it's good. I think XYZ running up really nice. I told people I thought this would be a good buy back when they did the Hindenburg short report on this thing. Yeah, but the big story of the day is Tesla and Google earnings this evening. How these respond are going to be really, really interesting. What's the news today? I mean, there's a lot of news. Again, Japan did a deal. Besson just got done speaking. We got Google and Tesla earnings coming out later. Both of those are slightly green or break even on the day. Alphabet, Tesla. We had AT&T earnings earlier this morning. U.S.-China trade talks in Stockholm are on the forecast. Bond yields, when we take a look at them, they're currently at 4.36%, 4.36%. So they've been moving down for the last day or two, which is good. Lower interest rate sentiment. All right, so Treasury Secretary Bassett is going to meet his China's counterpart in Stockholm on Monday and Tuesday next week, which is July 28th and 29th. They're going to discuss extending the current tariff truce past August 12th. Didn't they say we weren't going to extend it, though? I was looking at August 1st like it's like the hard deadline, which is what they said. And so they're going to do another extension. The current truce is set to expire August 12th. They're going to be addressing China's export-heavy manufacturing and encouraging a shift towards a consumer-driven. Discussions on China continuing to purchase oil, which may attract U.S. sanctions. But yeah, I mean, that's big for next week, but that's what Besson is saying. Yeah, so many extensions, man. All right, guys. All right, so we're creeping up to that 200 exponential. But yeah, big news today is Google and Tesla earnings after the closing bell today. That's going to be the biggest thing. Nasdaq still pushing up over that 200 exponential. Yeah, I'm looking for other news that come out. I haven't really seen anything. Let's do a poll. I don't think I've done a poll this morning yet. Let's fix that. What's a good poll today? Does the market close red or green tonight after digesting Google and Tesla earnings? Red, green. I think it's a pretty good poll. I don't know. I don't think Powell's going to resign. I don't think they're going to fire him for sure. It's about whether they put pressure on him. And I don't think so. GameStop. Yeah, GameStop trying to creep up too. GameStop at 24.40s. Yeah, it's a little slower today, which is all right. Again, the big story, Google, Tesla earnings. Google is expecting today 215 EPS. Tesla expecting 29-cent EPS. Google expecting revenue of 79.14 billion. Tesla expecting 22.61 billion. So, two big stories today. Deutsche Bank sees 30-year yields jump on any Powell exit. So, why would 30-year yields jump, though, if Powell exits? Okay, so in theory, right, if Powell gets kicked out or exits in any way, the theory is that they're going to bring a more dovish chairman in. And a more dovish chairman is going to reduce interest rates, which would be a lower interest rate sentiment, not a higher interest rate sentiment. Maybe I'm missing something here. I just don't understand why yields would go up if Powell exits. Maybe uncertainty, fear, whatever. But I would assume whoever they replace him with is going to be more dovish than Powell because that's the pressure they're putting on him. Again, I might be wrong, but you think you're smart until you got to spell Deutsche. D-E-U-T-C-S-C-H. Deutsche. Why does Deutsche think yields will spike with a Powell replacement if whomever they bring will most likely be less restrictive and more dovish? Let's see what AI has to say about this. Here's why Deutsche and others think Treasury yields could spike if Powell's replaced. Even a dovish replacement could lead to higher yields if markets lose trust in the Fed's independence or expect higher inflation down the road. The biggest thing is the loss of the central bank independence risk premium. If Powell is forced out, it undermines their independence. Investors may fear future rate decisions will be politically motivated, not data-driven, and this loss of credibility leads markets to demand a higher yield. Maybe, but yeah, I would expect looser policy. If a new Fed chair raises rates faster, ignores inflation, market may expect inflation to stay elevated. Long-term yields like 10-year reflect. Yeah. Maybe a sharp initial reaction, but I don't think it's going to hold. I know how to say it. It's not close to impossible. I mean, they're not going to fire him. But again, you got to understand, him stepping down is not from him getting fired. It's going to be from political pressure. That's what it's going to be from. If it happens, right? It's going to be from pressure. And so, yeah. Porsche? Am I saying Deutsche wrong? Deutsche? I don't know how to say it. I thought it was Deutsche. Maybe I'm wrong. That's... Deutsche. I'm pronouncing Deutsche right. It says the EU sounds like oi in boy. The SCH sounds like sh or a softer ch. Deutsche. I'm saying it right. Y'all are wrong. I'm right. I think. I might be wrong. I don't know. AI says I got it right though. So I mean. Porsche, Deutsche. Yeah. I think y'all don't know how to say it correctly. All right.
Deutsche Bank.
Oh, yeah, I'm right. Y'all are wrong. How does it feel, chat, to be wrong like this? Just closed my Toyota position, 500 shares bought yesterday at 169, got out at 191. Yeah, that Japanese trade deal. A Japanese trade deal is what's helping your Toyota positions. Yeah, how do y'all not know how to say Deutsche? Here, come on now. Oh, now my ego's coming. 100%. How do y'all not know how to say Deutsche, though? How long have y'all been in finance here? Yeah, master linguist. Here. Alright guys, so we did bounce at 250. I'm a little bummed I didn't take that position here. We do have this upward trend though, like you can see this upward trend. You know, you can see us riding up. Hey, thank you, Joseph. About how to pronounce Deutsche. Alright. Alright guys, we're starting to move up. again, the whole market's going to be waiting. I think we might have choppiness today. Not unless we get some big catalysts. I think we're going to have choppy sideways action. I think we're going to be leading into Google and Tesla earnings after the bell. I think those are big Mag 7 stocks that are going to influence markets. And I think leading into them, we might have sideways choppy action because of apprehension is my guess today. Is straight up guess, not an investment professional. I'm not liable if you lose. Always make your own assessment. Trade smart. I can't guarantee anything. Yeah, well, T-Sir, you're wrong. All right. Look, you can look it up. They're after the closing bell at 4 p.m. today. But it's all good. You could be wrong about how to pronounce Deutsche. And that's okay. Tesla's slightly green. Here's the previous closing price at 332. We're at 332.50, right? So we are green about 40 cents. Here's the previous close. Here's where Tesla is. So we're slightly green for Tesla, slightly green. Yeah, well, Mama said alligators are ornery because they have all them teeth and no toothbrush. All right. Mama from Waterboy. As a Louisianian, you gotta know Waterboy, the movie. I'm siding with Alphabet going green. Are y'all bullish or bearish on Tesla? Tesla's had an interesting time. Yeah, it's a quote from the movie Waterboy, guys, just to clarify. Tesla's had an interesting time. In February, Tesla was at $375, almost $400 a share. It pretty quickly came all the way back down here. It hit $488, almost $500 a share at the end of last year. And then it basically dipped deep into this year, all the way down to almost $200 a share, lost 60% of its value. Now it's back up to almost 350s. It's at 332s, although the EPS expectations are not looking that good. Bitcoin run. Yeah, I know they do have some institutional. Don't they hold some Bitcoin? All right, so they said Powell's dismissal would be meant to produce easier monetary policy and should lift inflation expectations and risk premium, they wrote. The implied moves are big but plausible. All right, Epic Games says, quote, we cannot bring Epic Games Store to Apple iOS in the UK this year, and Fortnite's return to iOS in the UK is now uncertain, end quote. Oh no, I'm not a big Fortnite player, so I mean, I don't really care about this. It is kind of surprising that they can't make a deal. Very kind of choppy and flat, though. We don't have any economic data today that coming out at 8:30, I don't think. Let me make sure. Yesterday, Powell spoke, but he didn't speak on markets. And then today we had 30-year mortgage rates show up. 30-year mortgage rates showed up at 6.84% higher than last week. Existing home sales drop at 10 a.m. today. We'll see what that does. We got Canadian new housing price index. But outside of that, that's basically it. Yeah, I mean, next week we got a Fed meeting on the 30th. If we take a look at the rate expectations here, still 95 to 5% likelihood, but in September, it's looking 56% likelihood of a 25 basis point cut and almost 60% likelihood for any size cut by September. We'll see if it happens. We'll see if it happens. Yeah. President plans to deliver. Oh yeah, the president does have a keynote speech today. I forgot he does the AI speech. When is it? It's scheduled for this morning, coverage and live stream starting around 9 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Eastern. It's going to be a Washington, D.C. in a summit hosted by All In and Hill Valley Forum. 20-page AI action plan with 3 pillars: infrastructure, innovation, and global influence, aimed at accelerating U.S. AI capabilities, data center build-out, and global dominance. So that's today, around 10 a.m. is what I'm showing. Let me know what you guys think. Yeah, I saw this thing on Dave Ramsey's show, and it was essentially like, I make 30 to 90K, he said. It was some kid, he was like, hey, I make 30 to 90K a month day trading. What should I do with the money? And honestly, they told him the right advice, which is that, look, make your money and get out. It's always going to be unstable. You know, you could invest it in the stock market, you could buy real estate with it, but you can't really count on those gains to be consistent over 5+ years, you know? So, like, make your money, get out when it's good, do something else. And I think that's the right mentality. You know, I think too many people try to stay in day trading too long, where they make money, and then eventually they lose everything. Like the guy, who's the guy that, what did he do? What was he doing? He made $100 million doing what? Chat? Well, more than a house, but yeah, you know. Who knows if he's telling the truth? This was just some random caller, and you guys know young people like to fabricate gains. You know, like somebody makes 5K in the market 1 week, then they all of a sudden start saying, yeah, bro, I make 20K a month. And it's like, do you really make 20K a month, or did you make 5K 1 week and now you're trying to act like a genius day trader? Was it meme coin trading? Was it meme coin trading that he was getting involved with? What was it? U.S. Treasury Secretary Bessent says Amazon CEO told him last week he sees no price hikes, according to MSNBC. Yeah, that's when they start selling courses. Yeah, you'll never hear about losses. Oh, he made it, yeah. I see it all the time, bro. And again, I used to have people that tried to work with the channel. And they would tell me, hey, thanks so much. I just got started day trading. You know, thanks so much. You've helped me learn a lot with day trading. I just got started. And then I'd let them start, like, posting news releases. This is not Pawn. This is somebody else. Pawn's never acted like this. But they would start posting news releases somehow, and I'd pay them, like, a small sum of money. And very, very quickly, they would try to pivot towards, I've been day trading for 20 years, and I'm a genius day trader for 20 years. Market you know. Yeah. And I'd be like, dude, you told me 3 weeks ago you just started day trading. Like, what are you talking about? You know? And so what you learn pretty quickly is like people, they search for that type of validation online. It's pretty normal, I think. Like, I try to just be honest with people about my own stuff. I'm not going to really fabricate a bunch of stuff like that. And I think that's where my niche is on this channel. Is like, I just tell people the truth, which is that I'm not an expert. And so many people try to go the other way with it. I think it helps grow this channel because people realize, hey, at least he's honest about that, you know, versus I could, if I wanted to lie, you know, I could very easily lie. I got a library right here. I could say, hey, I made this money day trading, guys. But that wouldn't necessarily be true. Apple put out something that said they introduced Apple Care One, streamlining coverage into a single plan. Apple Care One costs $20 a month for 3 products, $19.99. Again, I'll say it once about the guy who made 100 mil and then lost it. If you make 100 mil, if you make $100 million, short-term day trading meme coins, or whatever he was doing, and you do not say, hey guys, this is the equivalent of winning the lottery at $100 million. Let's take a step back and walk away and put 80% of this up away somewhere in some risk-free assets or whatever you want to put it in. You can put it in bonds and make so much, like $100 million. You could put $100 million in bonds. $100 million. If you get 4 point whatever, you could, let's say you get 4% a year. You get $4 million a year to spend. Risk-free. $4 million a year. You know, you buy 10-year treasury bonds, you get $4 million a year. At the end of that, you get you get your money back. I mean, you don't want to put all of it in bonds, but the point is, with that much money, you're set for life. What are you doing? Gambling it again? Like get out, celebrate. You know, get some balloons. You know, diversify, and you're set for life. And so the fact that whomever that, I don't even know who that is, but the fact that they did not do that and they instead said, you know what? Let's gamble some more with this 100 million. Just not, you know, it shows a gambling mentality is what it shows, which is probably the same mentality you need to run 3 million or whatever it was into 100 million in the first place. But the problem is that it's going to be hard to keep. Hey, yeah, I mean, as long as you can recognize you got lucky and, you know, it's not going to be every day. The problem is people make 1, 2, 3K in one day and they're like, oh, I make 50K a month now. And it's like, no, you don't, you know. Calls on Texas Instruments. Yeah, I mean, I could probably, I'm just using a calculator because I'm used to it. But yeah, it would be 4 million. I don't really need the calculator to do this. You guys know my math is pretty solid, but like, I'm trying to reinforce a point, and I think the calculator helps that, you know. Top 3 mathers in the world right now. Freeport put out earnings. They posted a 54-cent adjusted EPS versus 46 cents expected. Beat EPS, and I don't know what they did with the revenue. I can't really see it. He's back doing meme coins again. I bet he is. Right, yeah, for sure. Fighter for Street says I'm guilty of doing that. I did well for a couple months. I was telling people I make $10,000 a month. People always want to exaggerate. They want to seem like they're doing better than they really are. Is what it is. You know. I don't care what was going on, Yowzer. If he makes 100 million and doesn't walk away, he's got a problem. He's running a GoFundMe so he can trade again. I mean, whoever's donating to that, you know, I wish you guys the best. When do we get a pullback? I don't know. All right, so Nasdaq's rebounding back up. Again, Tesla and Google kind of stagnant. Nvidia creeping back up, almost back up to 170s. We're at 169s now for Nvidia. GameStop creeped up to almost $25 a share. It's now at 24.30s. Apple's been pretty strong. Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to day trade a little bit right now, though. I might buy a little bit of this dip, see if we get a move back up. But I do think we're going to have like a... I do think we might have choppiness today. But we'll see what happens. Yeah, I have no idea what Tesla's going to do in their upcoming earnings. Genuinely no idea. We're going to watch it, though. We're going to be streaming today when they come out. All right, so we got 4 contracts here. I'm trying to take a little bit larger size. I think my size is a little too small. Yeah, I mean, we're all the way down to that 200 exponential. Well, it's not looking good for this one. I'm probably going to start liquidating. We took a piece of it off. The problem is Google just went red on the day. So I'm not really liking this that much. Yeah, I'm going to cut it. Small loss. But let's see what we get. Look at this big red action here. I'm trying to see if we had any news. All right, so FCX put out some numbers, but they're not really moving that much. Had to do with maybe copper. Lutnick is speaking. Let's see what he says. Yeah, Ozzy. Sad, man. Honestly, what's weird is that my wife and I just started watching The Osbournes. Again. Like, it's been years since I've seen that show. But we just started watching it. And so, yeah, that's what we were watching. Oh, he just started watching it. So rest in peace to Ozzy. He must have known he didn't have long. That's why he did the farewell concert, is my guess. He just knew, I think. He had to know. Yeah, so look at Google go red on the day, though. This probably was dragging the market down. Look at Google fall. So right at this 250 level. German government representative on European Union and U.S. tariff talks says Berlin supports the EU Commission's plan for a European 100 billion countermeasure and anti-coercion instrument. Yeah, I mean, we're definitely turning a little red this morning. It's mostly from Google, Tesla, trying. I'm looking at other news to see if we got any breaking stuff. Iran said they intercepted a destroyer in the U.S. one in the Gulf of Oman. But now we're popping all the way back up here. Tesla's still technically green on the day, though. Getting this pretty big pop up here. We got this bounce right around 250, not quite there, a little bit underneath it, but close enough to the level to hold. Reddit, CYN. I don't know anyone who listens to Ozzy. Paranoid's good. I like Paranoid. He's got some okay stuff. But, yeah, I mean, he's older. I mean, he was almost 80. So, yeah. I mean, most of the people that listen to him in his prime are going to be older. You know, that's how it goes. All right, so we came all the way back up. I think we're going to be choppy today. Everything will be red today, maybe. Looking at our poll numbers, 57% think Green Day, 43% think red. Yeah, I mean, that's okay. I like Ozzy a little bit. You know, I'm not like a super fan or anything, but. All right, so yeah, SQ, or not SQ, XYZ or Square, which is Cash App's app, is going to join the S&P 500. So a German spokesperson on Japan-U.S. tariff agreement says not comparable with the European Union and the U.S. situation. So, see what happens there. Another mostly beat earnings session, though. We'll put this up on screen, but almost all the big companies beat EPS, beat sales. Yeah, so in terms of earnings that came out today, this includes like GEV. They BDPS beat revenue. FCX BDPS beat revenue. AT&T BDPS beat revenue. Thermo Fisher BDPS beat revenue. APH BDPS beat revenue. NextEra BDPS missed revenue. Hilton BDPS beat revenue. Boston Scientific BDPS beat revenue. FI BDPS beat revenue. General Dynamics BDPS beat revenue. Hasbro BDPS beat revenue. INFY flat EPS beat revenue. Coop COOP, one of the only misses today. They missed EPS and revenue. LW BDPS beat revenue. HCSG same thing. Otis missed revenue but BDPS. We had the CME group. They came out with BDPS beat revenue. Moody's, EQ&R and more. Yeah, look at the 200 exponential. We kind of have like a cup and handle pattern here, so I do want to short this if I can get an opportunity here to short. If we get a little pop, we'll start to scale into a short position here. Scale into about 4 contracts. We just got 3 right now. Ideally, I'm looking for like 250 down here. Today is a red day, maybe. You never know. Right now, we're just getting really, really choppy action. That 200 exponential is rejecting really easily here. We're basically flat on this. There we go. Look at Tesla. Tesla now technically red on the day at 332 a share. Technically red, although it's slight. It's slight. Yeah, we got another candle opening up right around now. Yeah, look at Tesla fall down here. Tesla has earnings this evening. Same thing with Google. Well, Google's kind of mixed, but there we go. We got my breakdown that I wanted. We took some of this off just to lock in some profit. I want 250 down here. I'll give it a second. We can probably hold the rest break even now. Yeah, I don't know if today's gonna be red or green. I'm short-term day trading, so I mean, I don't know what's gonna happen here. I'm gonna add a little bit more to this. Still holding a break even now. We added some more to it though. At least we want to hold a break even. I give it a second to reject up here, but depends on how big of a, you know, move this thing makes. Yeah, so XYZ getting added to the S&P. I would think this would be optimistic for Bitcoin, but it's kind of flat. There we go. Take another piece off here. Nice. I'm gonna go ahead and cut this down here. So we made a good bit from that trade. We got exactly the profit target we wanted, which was 250. It might keep breaking down. Hey, thank you, Ramsey. Appreciate the donation, sir. Are you covering home sales data today? Of course, yeah, we're covering it. We always cover it, you know. Yeah, Ozzy was struggling when they were filming the Osbournes because we were just watching it and he was not quite, you know. So I'm assuming X, you mean the micro, right? So I'm assuming you mean the micro. I'm trading the micro right now. The regulars just got too much volatility and risk. Alright, so we're still falling down some here. Again, Tesla falling down is driving this, I think. Look at Tesla, it's at 331.50s. Tesla now technically red on the day. I think the Nasdaq's probably technically red on the day now too. Alright, still flushing down here. Look at Tesla fall quickly. So Tesla's one borough is looking to raise cash in the U.S. investment grade primary market today, according to Bloomberg. Calendar for the rest of the week expected to be light. But look at Tesla fall down a little bit, and the Nasdaq kind of following suit here. Is the Nasdaq still up a little bit? Oh yeah, Nasdaq's up a decent amount today. Sorry, I just checked it. Yeah, kind of rebounding from yesterday's red. Yeah, we'll see. I'm sitting tight. We had one good trade, one bad trade. Or we're just kind of somewhere in the middle here. Still flushing, still red. AMD is pushing up though this morning, to be honest. If we get a move up to 250, I might short that, but I kind of need a move. I gotta wait for that move. So we get a move up here, I might short that. $50's there. I mean, I think we gotta look at 60. I think it's mostly the 200 exponential moving it like this though, but did you hear they may lower the PDT rule to $2,000? Yeah, I think they should. It's just a mid correction, yeah. I hope they do, but I've also looked deeper into that. But I've looked deeper into that, and so far it's just rumors they're saying. Okay, but maybe it isn't just rumors. So, okay, so I'm seeing this thing. FINRA is reportedly preparing a draft proposal that would reduce PDT minimum equity requirements from 25K to 2K and eliminate the blanket limit of 3-day trades over a rolling 5-day period. Instead, individual brokers could set their own threshold and risk monitoring controls above the $2,000 base. If approved by FINRA, expected this fall, the proposal would move to the SEC for review, implementation in late 25 to 26. Yeah, I mean, what we're probably seeing here, like what's driving this, yeah, I'm in a combine right now, so I'm just kind of messing around trading on this. But what we're probably seeing here is, all right, I'm going to short this. So again, this is a combine account that I'm just kind of messing with right now. I want to short this 250 level. Let's see if we get it. And I got a couple combines that I'm like playing with here that have like different, but I have a bunch of accounts. We might add a little bit. This is a combine account, guys, by the way. So it doesn't really matter if we win or lose too much on this thing. We already got a pretty big cushion on this account on the day. Yeah, I hope they do it, man. I just don't think they're going to, but I hope they do. Actually, this might actually go through. We'll see. I like this trade. The only thing I don't like is that we did pop over 250, which I don't like. And it's a quick pop too, like a big rebound back up. Okay, I think what's going on is 400 organizations were compromised following Microsoft server hack, according to researchers. I think that's the news that just dropped. It's also the 8:30 scrum, although we didn't have any data today at 8:30. Here we go. I try to hold this break even, but I honestly still like the trade. I could short into 250 and see what happens. Again, we're trying to build like 250 in profit or so. Not an investment professional. Do not copy me, especially in this thing. This is a challenge account, so it doesn't matter. The previous account we were trading on was a funded account, though. We switched to a combine account recently. I'll add a little bit more in here, just kind of swing for it. The range has got to be still kind of small on the day. All right. All right, we've cut most of this. It's not going to be a red trade. All right, we're out. Pretty good trade. Not bad. I'll take it. Green is good. Short thesis worked. Yeah, Canadian new housing should have been minus 0.2%. Previous was the same thing. We are coming back down a little bit. Let me see if we have anything besides this Apple news. All right, so the British Columbia Premier says more counter tariffs on U.S. risk severe harm. Again, 400 organizations were compromised during Microsoft's hack. Also, guys, give me a follow at Beginner Trades on X.com. We are like 30 followers away from 4,000 followers. I'm really trying to break 4,000. So if you haven't already, give us a follow. We cover all the big news that I consider big news, especially in the mornings. And so if you want a place to watch that covers big news, at Beginner Trades on X, I appreciate it. Also, guys, check out Top Step. Great way to help support the channel. No PDT in futures. You can day trade the S&P, NASDAQ, Dow, Russell, Gold. If you want to wait for them to change the PDT rule, who knows when that's going to be, but you can try Top Step right now. No PDT rule. You can day trade the S&P, NASDAQ, Dow, Russell. Patterns are very similar to blue chip stock patterns. You can get started for $50 a month. If you pass it, you get a 50K funded account, 90% split, and they pay out millions, fund thousands. You know, you get to keep your first 10K prior to that split kicking in, and then 90% split afterwards. So it's the best of both worlds. Limited risk, similar reward. And most day traders lose money, including here. It's a lot cheaper to learn, grow as a trader on here without risking too much versus funding your own account thousands of dollars. That just doesn't make any sense. Great resources, and if you use my link, you can use TopStepX. You get zero commission, but again, understand they are a sponsor of mine. I am biased because I get paid by them, and most day traders lose money. I think that's why TopStep is useful, is because it preserves your, you know, risk, if that makes sense. But again, I'm biased. Understand all that stuff. I'll put it up on screen. Great way to help support the channel. There's the link right there. Pinned to the top of the chat now if you want to check it out. Let's watch this 232 level. This is like the isolated low of the last few hours here. I don't know if it's the low of the day. Yeah, so this is the new low of the day. So the low of the day is at about 232 right here. So we'll see what happens. AMD breaking down. It's at 156.70s. A White House official says Japan is going to boost rice purchases by 75% and buy $8 billion in agricultural and other products. Let's see. So Microsoft, yeah, Microsoft's coming down. It looks like this drop is related to Google and Tesla, though. So we'll see. Yeah, thank you for the donation, Ramsey. Appreciate it. Now look at this rebound back up here. I don't know if I want to target 250 again. Yeah, they say Japan is going to buy, according to the White House, Japan is going to buy 100 Boeing planes from us. BA spiking on this news. Here's Boeing. It's at 232s. All right, we're back up. We're almost at 250s here. All right, rejecting here. We're down to 243s, 244s. Should have maybe shorted 250 again, but I think it's too difficult to figure that out. This says Japan is going to hike defense spending with U.S. firms to $17 billion annually. Yeah, so far we're choppy. I think the market's going to be apprehensive today just based off of like how everything is right now. I mean, it's earnings season. Like, you know, next week we got a whole bunch of stuff, dude, coming out. You know what I mean? So, like, it's earnings season. We got a whole bunch of stuff. And I think markets are just going to be a little more apprehensive than normal because of all that stuff, you know. Not holding yesterday's short recovery. But just kind of sideways here. We're not really doing anything. Boeing's up. Again, Tesla giving us some volatility today. We're at 331s right now, 331s. Hey, what's up, Tiny? AT&T beat on revenue. Yeah, I appreciate the support, honestly. My normal streams have grown so much, man. You know. I hate flying, too. I do not like flying at all. You know. Yeah, and next year when we go back to Michigan, like, dude, like, I swear, every time I've flown in the last year, it's been a freaking mess, dude. I've hated it. I hate flying anyway. I've gotten used to it. I got to take some blood pressure medicine before I fly. Make sure I'm not, like, freaking out on the plane. Calm myself down. But every single time I've flown. All right, so here's the lows of the day. If we break 232, we're going to break lows. Look at Tesla start to come down. We're still watching Google and Tesla, but look at Tesla. It's down to 330 right now. 330, under 331, I mean. And look, here's the low of the day at 232. But every time I've flown over the past year, it's been a freaking mess. Flights get changed. You know, the last time was like the last straw. Like, we are not flying anywhere anytime soon. There's other options. Like, we could take trains. We could drive ourselves. And it looks like that's what we're going to be doing. Because I just can't do it anymore. You know. The last time our plane was supposed to leave at 6 a.m. in the morning, obviously. And it got pushed back to 9:50 p.m. after we had gone to the airport. And so we literally spent all day in Chicago. We had to rent a hotel room. And then, you know. It's the delays. It's a little bit of everything. I don't like the airport in general. All right, look at this. We're testing that low of the day. Again, guys, one of the most common movement patterns that's easy to see. Look for milestone levels. Wait for us to get within a range of these milestone levels, like here. And you got pretty easy momentum to the downside. High probability test. Now, I'm not saying we're going to break down under this level. What I'm saying is that when we get within a range of these milestone levels, it becomes incredibly probable that we're going to at the very least test them as we're doing now. Now, we might rebound and go do other stuff. It doesn't freaking matter. The edge is in the range around it. That is where the edge lies with this type of stuff. The bigger the milestone level, I would say there's a formula that I have in my head for it. The bigger the milestone level, the longer it's been since we tested said milestone level, the more likely it is that we at least test it on that run. If you could just sit around waiting for those, you got super easy money in the market, in my opinion. I'm not an investment professional. Don't copy me. But that makes sense. And I've seen it happen over and over again, especially with like lifetime highs, of course, big milestone levels. Now, a low of the day isn't the biggest milestone level, but it's not small either. And I think when you get close to it like this, you know, the likelihood that you're at least going to test it like we just did here goes up. Tesla's at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is when the numbers actually drop. And then I think Tesla's earnings call is at 5:30. Yeah, it's at 5:30 Eastern Time. Yeah, just super easy momentum, man. It's really easy to catch. Apple rebounding back up a little bit too. Now, nothing's going to work 100% of the time. Just like I always try to tell people, there's variance with everything. So I always tell people, anybody that's like the market's going to do this or the market's going to do this, and there's no, it's absolute. Either they really want the market to go where they're saying it's going to go, or they're new, right? Because there's so much variance with everything. Now, I can think the market's going to do something or want the market's going to do something, but saying it's going to do something in absolute terms, that's just not true. Again, I'm going to go back to that Big Short quote from yesterday. It's not the things we don't know that hurt us. It's the things that we know with certainty that just aren't true, or something like that, right? Great quote. I'm gonna milk that quote until I forget it. Great quote, though, honestly. 100% true. Absolutely true. Thermo Fisher just posted guidance numbers. They see fiscal year revenue between 43.6 billion. They expected 43.7 billion, so a little bit lower guidance than expected for TMO. EPS range between 22.22 and 22.84. They expected 22.32. So a little bit better EPS guidance, bad revenue guidance, lower revenue guidance for TMO. Let's see how they're reacting to it. Negatively, of course. And this is why, like, these are some of the more important metrics. Look at this. If you can understand how to read guidance numbers, earnings are always going to be variance heavy in terms of reactions, right? But if you can learn to read guidance numbers, you can predict it a little bit better, I would say. Yeah, I genuinely, I don't like heights. I'm scared of heights. I do not like flying at all. I've gotten used to it. I hate it, though. I do not like it. I don't like the whole thing. I would rather drive for 3 days than fly in a day. U.S. Commerce Secretary Lutnick says Japan brought down tariff rates by doing these investment deals with the U.S. Yeah, I just don't like flying. It's not worth it. Like, at least if I drive, I know when I'm probably going to get there. You know? Yeah, they got... All right, let's watch 250. Look at TMO rip up now, though. They must have seen something they liked, but TMO, Thermo Fisher, bouncing up now. All right, guys. We are so choppy right now. TMO bouncing back up. I don't. Tesla's still testing lows of the day now, down to 330.80. So Tesla just broke lows of the day just now. That 250 level seems to be a pretty big. Just eat as. I'm good on the Zan things. Again, those things are definitely not worth it. You know, like, I'm good. Like, those things are dumb. Like, there's two things in the world where the withdrawals alone, when you try to get off of them, can end you. Alcohol and that. I'm good on taking those. I'm good. I'm both of those things. I really don't use, ever. I've never, and so I'm good. I'm just not going to ever get locked into taking those things. And unfortunately, some people are on both of them. But yeah. All right, we're at 250s. Hey, congrats, MC. That's good. Tilray. Yeah, I've seen Tilray's had a big run, but I just don't trust cannabis legalization. Like, I'm pro-cannabis legalization because, going back to what I just said, right? Like, I know a lot of people that got stuck in that world. And the companies that are lobbying against cannabis legalization are those type of companies I just mentioned, right? Like, they don't, why? Because cannabis fixes a lot of those things without causing the physical dependence, right? And that's a powerful thing for a lot of people. And so they lobby against it. Law enforcement lobbies against it. But ultimately, I'm pro cannabis legalization for that reason. I think it's a much safer alternative to a lot of pharmaceutical and synthetic drugs that we produce regularly. And I think people get stuck taking those things and can't get off of it. I think cannabis is just a easier version of it. And I'm not saying there's no, but it's certainly not like alcohol or anything else. And so I think I'm really pro cannabis legalization because of that. And I think you got to have an even standard in terms of inebriation levels. Cannabis is pretty low relative to alcohol and others as well. The danger levels are much lower than a lot of those other things. It's just hypocritical to, prohibit it, have prohibition on cannabis, I think, at this point in time. AMD is actually doing really well today. All right, so we cracked lows for a split second here. We broke lows. New low of the day is now 230.50. We'll lower this level to that. That's the new low of the day. We bounced right at this low. And so again, like I said, as we get within a range of these big milestone levels, the likelihood that we're going to at least test it goes up. It doesn't mean we're going to break it. It doesn't mean we're going to break down. This is why I don't target low of the day shorts or high of the day breakouts, is because of this exact thing. Look, we broke the low of the day, which was right here. And then look at this rebound. This is just a squeeze. This is squeezing shorts out of it. And so I'm just not trying to mess with that either. But I think there's an easier, more predictable, higher probability range around milestone level trade strategy that works better. The problem is more of the cheap synthetic stuff. Well, yeah, but that's only because it's illegal. You know? Crypto's falling down, is it really? Yeah, Bitcoin at 118s now. Hit 120s yesterday. It's dipping down some today. All right, so here's the retest of the lows of the day here, getting some red momentum show up. Tesla's still down on the day, slightly, so is Google. All right, let's see what's retest this level here. All right, testing that level now. Still bouncing at this 230 level, so you're bouncing right back up. AMD's pulling back a little bit. Apple's pulling back a little bit over the last 5 to 10 minutes. I'm looking to see if I got any other breaking news now. Commerce Secretary Lutnick says H2O controls will come off as China delivers magnets. So he's talking about the H2O chips. He said the president is looking for the European Union to completely open their market. He said, I'll be heading to Stockholm for talks regarding China. They're going to be having talks with China in Stockholm. Benchmark keeps a buy rating at Tesla and a 475 price target. It expects Q2 revenue of $22.7 billion, which is up 17% quarter over quarter, and EPS of 33 cents, which is slightly below the consensus due to margin pressures from tariffs, pricing, and warranty costs. We also have Lutnick speaking on if European Union accepts U.S. product standards, will move. President is looking for European Union to completely open their market if they accept products and standards that will move the president. Large nations are going to have a hard time getting a lower rate, and Japan deal could be a model for EU. We also had Thermo Fisher come out and saying the U.S. situation has improved. The U.S.-China situation has improved significantly versus assumption from their prior guidance. So again, bouncing at the low of the day here, still within this range. Yeah, I mean, that's what you teach your son, Daniel. That's the right move. I mean, so am I. I'm, of course, teaching my kids that. And I don't do anything, of course. I get up every day at 6 a.m., right? Like, I'm consistent. And if I was out doing stupid stuff like that, I don't think I'd be as consistent as I am, you know? But coffee's a drug. You know, there's a lot of different drugs, right, that people consume on a regular basis. So it just depends on what you classify things as. People think we're going to have a big correction or committing big mistakes. Maybe, I don't know. All right, we're down to 240s. All right, 30 minutes until the opening bell. All right, so Lutnick says, quote, we want to open the China market for non-sensitive products. The president, he also said the president has decided that China can buy H2O chips in a balanced way. And so basically the H2O chip controls will come off as China delivers magnets, and the president has decided that they can buy it in a balanced way. Hey, we need less than 30 followers on our X page at Beginner Trades. Give me a follow. Yeah, I mean, I'm not talking about anything like that. I don't do anything, guys. I don't want it to come across like that. Obviously, I get up every day at freaking 6 a.m. I fall asleep at I'm like an old person. I fall asleep at 9 o'clock at night. All right, so here's a retest here. We're at 234s. Google. Point is, I'm pro cannabis legalization because I think that's gonna regulate it. People are gonna consume it no matter what. And so you can either make them go to sketchy places to get it, or you can legalize it, regulate it, tax it. And people are going to do it regardless. And it's relatively, I don't know. I'm not going to go too deep into it. But. All right, we're at 235s, 235s. Yeah, I mean, I'd agree with that too, Kelly, to be honest. Regulate and tax that too if they want. I don't care. People are going to do that too, you know? I'm a big believer if something doesn't harm anybody else, let them do it, you know? But obviously everybody doesn't think that, and I get it. Where's Open right now? I know Open was ripping up here. Open Doors pulled back a lot then. Yeah, I mean, nobody's surprised by this pullback in Open. It was just up way too much. Way too much. Yeah, Open needed to pull back. I like the Open Door business model in terms of buying and selling homes. It's kind of like Carvana, but with real estate. I like the business idea, but it was up way too much, and it's never had a profit. It hasn't had a profitable quarter in a long time. Not really the epitome of good numbers for Open in terms of EPS and revenue. Where's gold at this morning? Gold's getting close to all-time highs still, but it's dipping down now. So it was getting closer to all-time highs. It's dipping down now. It's been moving with the market a lot. I'd rather buy some real estate investment trusts over open. Yeah, I feel you. I get it. I'm not necessarily against that either. Yeah. CME's exec says we are thinking about tokenizing cash and other non-assets. The CME. All right, so Thermo Fisher Scientific's CFO Williamson is going to retire early next year. Effective federal funds rate unchanged. Lutnick ended his remarks. Still testing these lows. Have you seen NEO? No, I haven't looked at NEO in a minute. EV company, it's up. I mean, look, NEO's up. It's up to 520s. The problem with NEO is that it's an overseas EV company, and I can't really watch the progress of it outside of what they say, and I can't really trust that. Like, when I invest in companies, I want to see the companies grow, here. And I can't really watch NEO in the same way because of that. So I don't really invest in it. I've invested some in Alibaba historically, but I think it's a little bit easier to gauge because you can use Alibaba and see it. I don't own a NEO. I don't know anything about a NEO, so I'm just not going to invest into it. But NEO up, Look at gold come down here. Here's Tesla at 330s. Your water has been running continuously since 10 a.m. on Friday, July 18th at a rate of 5 gallons a minute. Bro, I swear, I love my wife, okay? But she has so much water running in our house trying to create gardens and stuff. It's freaking crazy. Estimated 605 gallons over a 4-day period, 5 gallons per hour. They think it's a leak. I don't think it's a leak. I think somebody forgot to turn the hose off outside. Yeah. All right, guys. They're still moving up. That 230 level held, though. We didn't really break down after we cracked lows. 25 minutes left, chat. Nah, I'm just kind of messing around. I'm sure I spend money in dumb ways. I definitely do. But that's what it feels like. We got a rainforest out there. All right. Hilton CEO says travel demand remains soft in the U.S. I believe that. Yeah, I mean, I genuinely believe travel demand is soft right now. I'm a morning person. I'm annoyingly a morning person. I'm the type of person that gets up at the crack of dawn, jumping around the house, making everybody that's not a morning person go crazy. I mean, I get up every day here at 6 a.m. And so, used to get up at 5 a.m. But I'm a morning person for sure. GoPro? How's GoPro stock doing? I mean, it's up a lot. People thought it would fail. GoPro is running right now, though. Look at this. 250. Look busy to you? Yeah. She got a water timer. But you got to leave it running constantly. It's just, you know. Alright, so Hasbro CFO says the current China tariff rate is more favorable but remains fluid. Mark Cuban talking about how his son sells candy at his school and somehow he's impressed by it. It's like, dude, okay. You know how many kids sell candy at school? When I was a kid, they would sell candy to me. It would be $1 a box, you know? It doesn't make him more above it. Maybe I'm a hater. That's possible too. Maybe I'm mad I don't have a candy business. Alright, we're starting to rebound back up. I'm trying to fill the void of boringness today, guys. I mean, we tested lows, but we're not really moving at all. Like, this range, we've just been kind of boring. Alright, the president just posted. Maybe that'll liven things up. U.S. president posts housing in our country is lagging because Jerome refuses to lower interest rates. All right, we had the Federal Register come out. They said the U.S. ITC determines that there's a reasonable indication that an industry in the U.S. is materially injured by reasons of imports of steel, concrete, reinforcing bar from Algeria, Bulgaria, Egypt, and Vietnam. Yeah, well, I mean, if you grew up when I grew up in school, they had us out there hustling, selling candy, you know? Bro, they would make you spend 200 hours selling candy, and they'd give you like a little blow whistle for it, like a little plastic blow whistle that cost 10 cents to make, you know. Everybody understands exactly what I said if you grew up in my generation. Man, they had us out there slanging candy, or whatever it is, chocolate bars, the worst chocolate ever. You know, they labeled it the world's greatest chocolate. It's really not good. You sell candy, chocolate bars for 50, 100, 200 hours, you know, you might get a 50-cent toy, you know, that they kind of embellished in the booklet too. They made it look cooler than it was. You get it, it's like some flimsy plastic toy. You feel ripped off. They profit from it, you know. All right, we're rebounding back up. Apple fighting back up a little bit this morning, though. Apple green is up to 215. Apple's had a pretty good week or two. What is Apple earnings? Apple earnings are July 31st, so they're the day after the Fed meeting. They're on Thursday next week. Again, we got Tesla, Google earnings today. I think we're going to stagnate and go sideways today, though. Yeah, reading for pieces. I'm okay with reading for pieces because at least you're learning something. It's about developing a skill with a reward system, positive reinforcement with pizzas. You know, the other one, you're just working for, you know. Yeah, Diego knows. Cereal box toys. They had cereal box toys when I was young. They probably still do. All right, so let's see if we test this 230.75 level as well. Yeah, I mean, Bitcoin, I don't know why Bitcoin's breaking down. I think Bitcoin's just been on a run lately. It's not going to go straight up. Really, we're kind of sideways in Bitcoin. So if you really look at like a longer term trend here, you know, like we're essentially sideways. We're going up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. That's the range. You know, so until we break out of that range, one thing I do like about Bitcoin is that Bitcoin tends to have more technical follow through. You know, so like if you have a really nice technical pattern, of course there's always variance, but if you start breaking highs, people step in a lot easier and technical moves can follow through. They can follow through. I'm not saying they will, but they can follow through a little bit better just because it's probably a newer market, less. I know there's manipulation, but it doesn't necessarily rely on like market makers and stuff as much as the stock market, so maybe less sketchy things in that regard. All right, guys, so we're still consolidating after testing lows of the day and then rebounding back up, and now we're just kind of stagnant. Yeah, GoPro is up a lot today. It is up because of this happened yesterday in after hours. GoPro is up. Renewed interest in meme stocks with retail investors driving up the prices in GoPro, GameStop, AMC, and more. Right, so this is just meme frenzy for GPRO. You can see it squeeze. GameStop's up a little bit. AMC a little bit as well. But what happened to the old meme stocks? What was it, like KOSS? KOSS is up too. BBBY? What is it now? BBBYQ? Is it? I don't even think it's around anymore either, huh? What was the other meme stocks? I know COS Headphones was one. KOSS. Nokia was one. Nokia's not really moving though. What were the other meme stocks from 2021? Nokia, KOSS, Bed Bath & Beyond. Was it SNDL was one? BB. Yeah, BB was one for sure. I'm trying to remember 2021. I traded it. We watched it. We saw it happen. Well, obviously GameStop. But outside of GameStop, AMC, there's a lot of meme stocks that ran during that period of time that would kind of follow AMC, GameStop. Yeah, bankruptcy. This GoPro, yeah, Macy's was one, I think, too. Bro, has anybody been inside? What did I go in the other day? I think I went into, it was either a Dillard's or a Sears. I think it was a Dillard's. Bro, Dillard's is like a ghost town right now. I went in one at the mall the other day. Nobody was there. Even my daughter, like, she was trying to pick out clothes, and she was like, no, I'm not buying any of this stuff. It was mostly like old lady clothes, she said. I don't know. I'm not, you know. But Dillard's, man. If it had a stock. Kodak. I remember Kodak, but I don't think Kodak was a meme stock. I think Kodak was just a squeeze stock. So I don't think it's going to move in sympathy with memes like GameStop. KOS is definitely one. KOSS, you can see it move. Yeah, it might not. Yeah, I haven't been to a Sears. I don't know how long. I might be thinking about Dillard's. MMAT. Yeah. BBIG, dude. I tried to tell people about BBIG and about. There were a couple stocks where I told people, I was like, hey, this is a pump and dump. It's not going to succeed long term. And people would get so confident. They would troll me. They would say, hey, I'm going to come back in a year when it's up 600% and laugh at you. And then I just never saw them again. But there's a handful of these stocks that were like this. People just get wrapped up in it. I think like it's a mix of confirmation bias. I think people get so excited thinking they're going to get rich investing in something super cheap, right? Like if you buy a bunch of shares of like a $3 stock, I think people like to daydream and think they're going to go to 1,000 and that they're going to get rich. Kind of like Shiba Inu, you know. But the problem is that most of these are going to fail long term. And if they were going to succeed long term, you see big money get involved with it. Big money doesn't buy penny stocks. You know why? It's because penny stocks suck. They don't make money long term. They fail. They're terrible companies. And most good companies are never penny stocks. You know, it's not like they start off as penny stocks and they grow like a puppy up to a $50 stock. That's usually not what happens. It's much more common for a stock to IPO and immediately be $30, $40, $50 in mid-cap territory with a big market cap, right? They're almost never penny stocks. And so if you see a penny stock and somehow you think it's just going to grow like a puppy up to $50 a share, you're probably wrong. Yeah, Top Ship. I remember Top Ship. I remember DY. One of my first introductions to penny stocks was DRYS. Went up to like $100 in a day and then back down to $2. Yeah, Mullen. Mullen was never going to succeed. I knew that from the get. Mullen, the problem with Mullen is you could tell the dude idealized Musk, right? Like he looked like Elvis mixed with Elon. And you could tell he idolized Musk. But nobody wants to buy a Mullen vehicle. Easy thought experiment. Would you buy a Mullen vehicle? If you say no, that's probably everybody else too. All right, guys, we got 10 minutes into the open. Market's very choppy right now, very choppy. Kmart. Kmart had the best game section of all of them, though. I haven't been to a Kmart in years either. All right, so the president posted on Japan. He said, for the first time ever, opening its market to the USA, even to cars, SUVs, trucks, and everything else, even agriculture and rice, which was always a complete no. And so I'm assuming the market's running up on this post. Goldman Sachs and BNY are going to launch digital tokens tied to money market funds. Do you ever trade a choppy market? I'll short a top of the, like if the market's choppy, I can short the top, cover at the bottom. But I don't do it often. It depends on what happens. It depends on the setup, I guess. But I don't usually do it. We're a little bit too close to the opening bell for me. But if I think the market's going to continue to be choppy, kind of like today, ahead of big economic reports, big earnings, big catalysts, that's when I'll attack choppiness. And I think that makes sense if you do it, but you got to be selective with it. Dillard stock almost $500. What's the symbol? Is this really Dillard's? Okay, so yeah, it is Dillard's. How is Dillard's making this much money though? $36 EPS, trailing 12-month EPS of $36 a share. That's $9 EPS a quarter. How many shares are out there? Maybe it's just my area. You're right. Dillard's does have a stock. How in the world? They can't be many shares. What's the float? It's got to be in the millions, right? Okay, this is why Dillard's is $500 a share. Dillard's only has 7 million shares in the float. It's essentially like a penny stock in terms of float size. I don't like it up here at all, but it also looks like it's kind of squeezing shorts out. I'm never going to invest in this. Look at the NASDAQ pump higher, though. It's got to be catalyst driven, too. Let me see. Hold on. Yeah, market's running up a little bit. Just broke past that range. Again, guys, we're heading into the opening bell. You can check out Top Step if you want to day trade with us. No PDT and futures. Get around the PDT rule. Zero commission on Top Step X. They give you a 50 if you. All right. So the president said, "Quote: Indonesia has also agreed for the first time ever to completely open its market to the USA. That's big. Our businesses will make a fortune. Likewise, Japan." End quote. Be negotiated separately. Will not be worse than other trading partners. End quote. That's probably what's making the market push like this. But again, if you want to check out Top Step, beautiful way to get started. $50 a month. If you pass the test, you got to make $3K in profit to pass it without losing $2K first. Following their rules and conditions, you want to confirm it all with them. I can't guarantee it. But if you pass the test, you get a $50K funded account. 90% split. They pay out millions, fund thousands. Just a great way to learn. Futures market, you can day trade the S&P, NASDAQ, Dow, Russell, gold. You know, a lot of movement there in all those markets. You can see it pinned at the top of the chat. They are an affiliate or sponsor of mine, though. I'm biased because I get paid by them. But genuinely useful, I think. Understand all the stuff on screen. Not an investment professional. Not liable if you lose. Understand all the stuff. Can't guarantee anything. Sometimes I trade and lose off stream. You might not see it. We got 5 minutes into the opening bell. This tariff update is moving markets. A lot of updates on Japanese deal with White House, Indonesia, Japan. So. Snapchat looks like a short to me. I don't know. Snapchat's pretty close to the bottom of the range. The problem is Snapchat's hard to monetize and nobody really wants to pay to monetize it. So it just doesn't have that many customers, but it has data. And you would assume it's monetizing its data in some ways as a social media / chat company. But that's my issue with Snapchat. It's just hard to monetize. But if it's at the very bottom of the range, sometimes I don't hate it. Hey guys, do me a favor, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. I appreciate it. Tesla slightly red. Google went green on the day too. Look at Google. The European Commission Defense and Space Minister says the European Union plans to buy up $2 trillion worth of U.S. defense equipment between now and 2035, according to FBN's Lawrence. All right, guys. Hey, we got 2 minutes left. 2.5 minutes left. See what the opening bell gives us, though. I'm ready. We bounced at that 200 exponential, still over that 250. Google's starting to rebound. That's what's driving some of this, I think. We got 2 minutes left. All right, so the president posted again. He said, I will always give up tariff points if I can get major countries to open their markets to the USA. Another great power of tariffs, end quote. All right, guys. So, yeah, we got live trading of futures coming out. We're going to see what we get. We got less than a minute. Here's the opening bell, actually. Yeah, we're going to be reporting Google and Tesla earnings at the closing bell today. Tesla now dropping down at the opening bell while Google pushes higher. Tesla down at 330s, 329.50s here. We also have Nvidia pushing up. It's over 170 now. We got AMD pushing up, but Tesla's falling pretty quick. It's under 330s. Now it's back over it. Apple has fallen since the opening bell as well. Microsoft's down at the open. AMD's up, though. Meta's up since the opening bell, too. Yeah, I might buy this dip if I can get on a challenge account. We're going to buy this dip on a challenge account, see what happens. I don't usually trade the opening bell, but this is a challenge account, so we can play with this. See if we can add to it here. We got a pretty big cushion on the day in this thing, so we're going to try to scale in at the opening bell, see if we get a bounce. Almost green. There we go. Follow through red. I want to see if this level holds. I was hoping we get some green, though. Apple has turned red here. All right, we're kind of flat now. Now we're green. We're going to start unloading here. There we go. There we go. All right, we're out. All right, that worked well. Tesla's still testing lows, though. A lot of chop at the open. All right, red's still showing up, though. Look at this. It's mostly driven by Microsoft right now. Microsoft down to 502s. Could be from the hack news that we got earlier today. Try to buy this again. Small though. This is very small. Maybe add some to it. There we go. I'm gonna start liquidating this again. All right. Maybe add a little bit more to this. Hold this break even. This is a very small position. All right, we're gonna cut this break even like we said. So yeah, we're up over 800 in this thing today. Google now technically red on the day as well, but Tesla's starting to bounce back. Again, these are one of those days where I think we're going to get choppiness, so I don't mind buying. That's why I bought it. Look how choppy Tesla is right now. Again, Apple is kind of broken down a lot. Apple just went really red on the day. Apple now down to 214s. Yeah, well, Tesla didn't really sell off yet. Google's down a little bit, but it's not really a big reaction here. Apple's down the most this morning. It's what's dragging markets down. Nvidia's kind of slightly green since the opening bell, actually. But like, if you take a look at Apple here. Yeah, there's a rebound back up. But again, this is one of the things where choppiness can play a factor. Microsoft bouncing back up. Apple now green on the day. Technically, but still red since the open. You guys are red or green? Are you guys red or green? Let me know in chat. Tesla up. All right, guys. So Tesla coming back down a little bit now. So is Google. Look at Google. We might switch accounts now. See what we can mess with here. Google crack lows. I'm gonna buy this small, add to it, I think. There we go. I cut a very small loss. We might add back to it if we see something we like, but we'll add to this. Just gotta get some follow through here. We're not really doing anything. We have 2 micros here. I might take 3. There we go. I'll take 3. So we go green. There we go. All right. Small green. That's good. I still think it's going to head up more. Look at Google bouncing back. Apple's right at the previous close. Meta's doing good. Microsoft rebounded a little bit. Again, I still think we're going to get chop, and so I don't know what kind of action we're going to get. So we're still breaking down a lot, but it is earnings day, so any. All right, the president says I will only lower tariffs if a country agrees to open its market. If not, much higher tariffs. Japan's markets are now open. For the first time ever, USA businesses will boom, he says. All right, we're getting red. Apple's testing lows of the day is what's going on. All right, bouncing right at that 208 level. The problem is, look at Tesla come back down. So Tesla looking weak now too. General Dynamics CEO says 2025 Gulfstream deliveries will be at 150 to 155 jets. Now we're starting to come back up. EMSC revises the magnitude of the Crete earthquake to 5.3 from 5.8. Depth at 45 km. We couldn't buy this little dip here. Apple's still flushing down though. I think one of the root causes of this drop is Apple. Like, look. Still breaking down here. Apple's still falling fast, look. We got existing home sales come out at 18 minutes. So we do have that. We'll cover that live. Yeah. See if Apple finds some from ground here. Tesla's starting to head back up. Apple, Meta turn though. Microsoft's still a little weak. Apple doesn't really have news. I think it's just moving with markets. Could be tariff related as well though. Nasdaq's heading towards lows of the day, I think. I can't deal with that song. Why is everything down? Mostly driven by Apple. Microsoft and Apple. Alright, so we got that big low of the day short here. Let's try to maybe day trade a little bit more. Hold on. We're still breaking down here. But I do think we're going to have choppiness, so I'm going to buy this dip. Maybe. Still a lot of drops happening in markets. Let's see if we get back up. So I bought the dip in one of my other funded accounts. We're now green on both. Both funded accounts are now green. So I was trading the wrong one though. I thought this was the one I had on stream. Tesla rebounding back up a little bit. Momentum's weak though. Yeah, Apple's been the weak one. Look at it, 212s. Google's been kind of weak too. How you guys doing? Home sales 10 a.m. Yeah. We'll cover them. We got 13 minutes left. Hey, later, Corey. Have a good day, brother. We'll see you guys a little bit later if you're joining us for Google and Tesla earnings this afternoon. Oh, yeah, indices open after Japan trade deal and flurry, so a lot of stuff's green right now. Yeah, shout out to everybody that followed me on X at Beginner Trades. Well, I bought this bottom down here. Once we broke down this much, I was like, all right, I'm just going to buy it short term. We got a little trade in. I can show you guys that trade if you want, but this was that trade. So, not bad. We caught the bottom. Tesla starts at 5:30 though. What I hate about Tesla earnings calls is they start at freaking 5:30. Like, we got Tesla and Google earnings after the bell, but Tesla earnings start at freaking 5:30. And so, like, the earnings drop and then you gotta wait. Still breaking down for Apple. It's dragging the market right now for sure. Look at this. Tesla actually green since the opening bell. It's up to almost 334s. All right, thank you, Reggie. Appreciate it, brother. Thank you, sir. Yeah, at Beginner Trades, if you want to give me a follow. I'm like 25 followers away from 4,000. I've been pushing it a little bit more than normal, but yeah. Appreciate it. QBTS, yeah, quantum stocks are still interesting, man. I know Pony AI had some news. Man, look at QBTS, chat. 1950. And quantum looks like it's the future. And so I'm sure a lot of these have a long way to go if quantum continues to be the next, the base case for tech in terms of PCs and computers. A lot of them are still really early, I'm sure. Rigetti, RGTI, most of them under $20 a share. Most of them. There's some that are higher, but you never know. All right, Tesla at 332s. All right, we bounced at this 174 level. We're starting to head back up still. Ooh, all right. 7 minutes. I don't know how much is going to move markets. Existing home sales, it's expected today at 4 million. Last time was 4.03 million. They're expecting June existing home sale data to show up at 4 million. But it's justifiable to pay attention to. I just don't know how much it's going to move markets. You know, so like I think it's worth watching, but who knows if it's going to move things, you know. So that's kind of where I'm at with it. We'll see if it moves anything. I kind of want to buy this. I'm going to buy a small position here. Oh, dude, I'm buying in my funded account. I didn't mean to buy it in my funded account. Oh, well. I guess it's a good thing I bought it in my funded account, not my funded account, my combine account. That's what I meant to say. I'll show you guys it, I guess. I'm currently down in this account now. But we can swing for the fences. There we go. I'm still gonna keep scaling in on dips. It's a combine account, guys, just to clarify. Not an actual funded account. Don't worry. Ah, we're going the wrong way. That's alright. Let's see if we can get up there. We're flat now. Now we're green. We're just not holding up there. Yeah, Google Tesla earnings today. Here's a big bounce back up. Let's see if we go back up now. There we go. I'm gonna start liquidating some of this just in case. It did have a pretty fast bounce there. We got out a lot of this, but we're still holding a majority of the position. It's not really holding up there, though. Is the problem. All right, guys, 4 minutes. I don't even know if existing home sales are really gonna move anything though. Whoa. That ain't good. I'm gonna get out now. I don't know what that was. Something happened. Let me check the news. Luckily, this was just a challenge account, like a $50. Yeah. How did I lose? Oh well. I lost my $50 account. I thought I was out of it though. Alright, but I'm green on my funded accounts today, so I mean that's good. Yeah, here's one funded account. You can kind of see it at the top. I don't know what caused this drop though. Hold on, let me look to see if I found anything that caused this drop. Japan trade pact is a bad deal, says Detroit automakers in the Wall Street Journal. Yeah, here's one funded account. Here's another. So we're green on both. But I'm trying not to trade like too much stuff. It's just a challenge account. But let me see what happens. We got a minute and a half. I don't see anything that would drive the market except from the Wall Street Journal say the Japan trade deal is bad. I don't know if that's moving things. If you guys see anything, let me know. All right, we got 2 minutes left. Yeah, again, check out Top Step. Great way to help support the channel. No PDT rule. I lost $50 there versus losing thousands. If I pass the test, though, I get a 50K funded account, which we have multiple. No PDT rule. Great way to learn. Check out the link pinned to the top of the chat. You can see it in the description as well. I appreciate the love. Thanks so much. Understand all the stuff on screen. We got existing home sales coming out in less than 2 minutes. We're going to cover that and then ride on out of here. We'll see what they show up as. They're expecting 4% today. 4%. We'll see what we get. All right, guys, a minute and 20 seconds or so, give or take. Yeah, we're not going to have a 10% correction in the S&P today. That's kind of out there. I mean, maybe we do. I mean, it's possible, but it's like finding a needle in a haystack trying to predict which day we drop that big. All right, guys, we got 1 minute. 1 minute. Hit the live button next to the play button. We'll see what we should show up as for this. I don't see any news that came out that would make, you know, it looks like just a big sell order coming in. All right, so the Japan Automobile Manufacturers Association said, quote, "We welcome that the Japan-U.S. trade deal not only mitigates the devastating impact of Japan's automotive industry, but also avoids the worst-case scenario for customers in the U.S." End quote. 30 seconds, chat. NASDAQ around lows of the day. All right, here we go. 15 seconds. All right, here we go. Here's the data. NASDAQ just broke lows ahead of it. And here's the report right here. 3.93, lower than expected. 3.93 versus 4 million expected. We covered this within less than 2 seconds. Hit the subscribe button. 3.93 versus 4 million. Lower than expected existing home sales. And there's the NASDAQ falling down here. 155s, almost 150s. But again, we showed up at 3.93 versus 4 million expected. So lower than expected here, chat. 3.93 versus 4 million. Yeah, I'm going to get out of here. Hey, I love you all. Give me a follow at Beginner Trades. We'll be back later on for Google, Tesla earnings. Be ready. Be safe. Lower than expected existing home sales. Y'all be good. I'll see you guys later. Have a great day. Subscribe. Hit the notification bell. We do this live for free. Don't sell a course. Don't sell a service. Don't even claim to be a good trader. We just give you everything for free. Have a great day. We'll see you guys in a couple hours. Good luck.